All right. So last we left off, Wessel and Finch went to the captain's sort of in room, suss out maybe a possible clue, and that clue leading to a note, uh, like sort of under a bed with a bit of blood, saying, "Hey, like if you get her, she needs to go to this location," uh, and that the people that sort of after the captain are working in or a part of the Kingdom of Eight Crowns. Uh, Wetzel had his own personal meeting with the person that he's been after, and he was with him for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and sort of coming out of it in a state of uh, shock and disbelief. Very quiet afterwards. You guys decide to make your way towards the ship, meet with the captain. He says it's been pretty much nearly all. It's been fast and sorted and nearly done. But before you guys decide to like lift off, you spend the night there. In that the next day, waiting on communication between Finch and supposedly the youngest son of the Queen's children. Supposedly he would like to meet about something. Uh, Sia went to the Thousand Cuts just to leave a message for Rajan and Fusion in regards to, hey, we're going to be heading off soon. It's up to you whether you guys want to stay or go. Um, and that uh, conversations were had in regards to where you guys were going to go first. Uh, it seemed that the plan at the moment is to, when everything's done, you guys are going to head off and go towards, I believe it was Chongjin, where uh, the possible location of a Platinum Ring member is, who would have, or who is suspected to have the knowledge of the place that they need to get to in regards to one, um, finding the captain's wife, Anastasia, and two, it's the possible location of a warlord gem. Um, Apart from that, a bit of shopping was done. Everyone got their potions. You guys were lucky to find a antique collector, and thanks to Sia's extremely old money and scales, highly valuable to him. And so you guys have sort of made a unofficial friend within the business. Um, Apart from that, that's basically it. With everybody going back towards the ship, spending the night there, pretty much like the captain said, nearly refurbished and finished. Um, uh, and as you guys, I believe, wake up, that's where we begin. Uh, Ezekiel and Wessel decide to go get some breakfast first. Um, and then that's it.
Essie is gonna join them for breakfast. She's gonna try and keep an eye out to see if Evander shows up at all.
No worries. Um, can you see a roll for me a stealth check, please?
7.
All right. That wasn't in relation to you. That was in relation to something else that is connected to you.
Ha ha.
Um, I'll say finish tags along as well. Uh, Basically, while you're eating in the sort of like the mess hall, bunch of old familiar faces from the previous crew, but a lot of new faces from the recruitment drive to fill the ship up to full capacity once again. Um, Small talk here and there in regards to people coming up to you guys, like, "Hey, thanks for letting us, partake in this sort of, career choice, so to speak." But you notice here that besides the conversations of the in and outs in regards to what people are to expect, there's also like the crew members that were already converted before you guys arrived are subtly trying to swing their religion onto the new recruits.
All right.
Uh,
Can I keep an ear out to see if I can find, or just not necessarily actively wanting to speak with them, but if I can identify anyone who is the other faction for this religion from
uh,
down?
yes. Roll for me a perception check.
Not rolling great today. 8.
8. Uh, Eight's fine. You pick up on like conversations here and about. A lot of it's just very like service level, like work banter, work chat. Um, uh, but you are sort of well versed enough within your own religious teachings to hear a couple of tables over some murmurings that are contradictory to what you yourself preach. There's about six um, hobgoblins that are sort of looking around with distrustful glances at everybody else, uh, making comments about how the sort of racial makeup of this ship is really not what the teachings of Kishoten is about. But it's a case of they begrudgingly need the money, and it was advertised that the job pays a lot.
Sia's gonna join them
Yep.
and just sit herself at the table, say hello, and I guess you look like you have questions.
The oldest one looking there, probably like reaching to his 30s, um, like all hobgoblins, like reddish tone in skin. But he's got the makings of like a large beard that has slowly already started to like grey at the fringes. And he goes, I don't think we've met before. Uh, I am Raven. How may I help you?
Oh, my name is Sia. Words are not working today. What was I gonna say? I'm so sorry. I suppose she was just gonna try and introduce herself as words. What's it called?
Yes. Ah, you're the herald for Kishoten and Elvina.
Yes, I am.
Then great blessings, Herald. And they sort of all like bow to you. It seems that this group of six, Raven is the. Without being told, you can see that he is the unofficial leader of this small group.
Well, if you have any questions, of course, do feel free to ask.
No worries. Uh, we will, if that ever comes up, you will be the first to be inquired of our questioning.
Uh, Glad to be of help. Yeah, she'll just go back to the others then and keep an eye on them if they pass by or anything.
Yeah. Um, as you sort of like make your farewell on that statement and you go to turn to walk back to the group dining, you do notice that a couple of the sort of younger members probably in their like late teens, going on to 19. Um, they have a hard time trying to hide their sort of like disgust. It very
This
much gives off the feeling like they don't like you.
fair enough. Or let's just kind of ignore that for now.
uh, it's not long until the captain turns up. Uh, Comes to you guys with like a large bowl of food. Um, Sits himself down and he goes, uh, "Right. Well, here's the plan. Ship's good to go. You guys were wanting to wait, I believe. Finch. The question is,
Um,
where are we going?"
we are heading north towards. I don't have my map up. Huh? Oh, wrong folder. Yes, we will be heading into the Kingdom of the Eight Crowns. We will be heading to Chongjin.
Uh, Captain goes, "Right. Well, uh, that's the case. That's pretty central to the Eight Crowns. Like I can get us there, no worries. It'll just be a case of safely getting there."
Yes, and our destination is Chongjin, but don't think that that means that the airship itself has to be there. You can get us as close as you feel is safe for us to disembark and finish the journey on foot.
You see him like contemplate, and he goes, "Well, I think with recent events, flying straight there might be a bit of an issue. Um, Flying anywhere near the airspaces of Beijing is out of the question for start. I just don't have the clearance to fly there. So we can either go around to the west, out to the sea, fly up, and I can find some place within the plateaus, or we fly up east, and I I have a mate in Goa, but we'd be parking outside of Goa a fair distance."
Well, Chongjin is on the west, and I suppose the mountains or hills to the west be a decent little bit of cover, so we can head west.
All right. Yeah, that'll be good. Um, that means we'll be flying over the old province, unless you wanted to stay away from there.
The old province.
Yeah. Buy an Ogie.
Uh, not particularly, I suppose.
It's up to you, you guys, pretty much. It's either we head straight towards the ocean to fly it over. Not many airships, like over the Cargonet itself and over the ocean. There's less chance of being hit from the ground. Or we fly up and around the old province and then head out into the ocean.
What was the
Yeah.
problem with the old province again? Like the issue with going in that direction?
Um, it's just overrun with the undead. Not to mention, I've heard, or at least I'm aware of, uh, travels over air, over that bit of land, um, people not making it.
Well, well, in that case, we can head up to, um, round about Altai before we head out west to the ocean.
Yeah, we can do that, no worries.
After that, though, um, do you think we'll be all right? There's probably not going to be anywhere to stop for supplies after Kaesong.
Well, then, we've got quite a few. Like, we got enough to feed and house 80 for at least 3 weeks. But we make our way to Altai, we stock up and replenish as best we can. We go to Kaesong, which wouldn't take long, and then we surplus on our provisions, and that should be enough.
All right.
Um, and though people are out to get us, I I still have friends within the Eight Crowns that might be able to help.
No, hopefully we'll be okay. We should be able to come back this way. No, probably not best to plan that yet. Depending on what we find in Chongjin will depend on whether we come back to this side of the border or whether we push on through um, up to the Kingdom of the Eternal Sun.
All right then. No, we can do that. There's no worries. Um, so clarifying that while on the ship, I'm in charge, so to speak. But you guys, and he points to you four, are part of my officer corps. There's a couple of others, and he points around the room that are also officers, um, but they've been told that um, you are above them. So, in regards to chain of command, that's how it will be.
All right, understood.
Excellent. Uh, he puts down his six bowl, and he goes, "Well, I'll get that all squared away." He gets up and casually walks off. Uh,
Oh,
Ezekiel goes, And you think we'll be fine the way we're going? I mean, Chongqing is in the middle. Surely we might be better hitting a Warlord gem that might be closer, or at least along the way.
Uh, well, that is true, but remember that the captain's wife is on a little bit of a timeline here,
Right,
and
yes,
they're
yes.
looking for the Platinum Ring member, who is, as of at least, at the very least, an hour ago, is in Chongjin.
Right. Yes, yes, yes. I forgotten about that. Um, but yes,
And look at it this way: we'll be getting the hardest one out of the way first. Well, arguably, top three at least.
I dare say I can agree with that. So close to the old capital. Um, my concern is that this ship is so much larger than the old one. And we know that people are out to get the captain. Surely they would know that at least his ship has been upgraded.
Well, I mean, yep, the ship now looks completely different, which is helpful. And the west has a lot of terrain that should hide the ship.
In any case, if we ever need to, we can always just travel on land.
We could use the ship as a diversion. We could
Oh,
get them to places, drop us down somewhere within the 8 crowns, and then spread lies, I guess.
um, yeah. I mean, I would very much like to be or have the airship when we head into the North Kingdom. I'm not fond of the idea of walking around the eternal sun uh, with my little feet and legs.
Yes, I can understand that most definitely.
Thankfully, there's only one gem in the 8 crowns, so I'm not quite as worried.
Have any of us been to Chongjin?
Well,
Uh,
yes, but I doubt it counts. But I say yes.
oh, when were you there last?
It's the
I
last
imagine
dungeon
it
I
was.
did before, and the last town I was in before I fell into the labyrinth.
Then times have certainly
Oh,
changed since you were last there, Seer.
Yeah, I doubt anything's going to be much the same from when I was there.
But if a Warlord gem is there and there was a great dungeon there as well, it might be that the gem is hidden within. Maybe.
I certainly hope not.
I mean,
If my memory of that dungeon is correct, there are watchers in the dungeon. A
oh,
lot of them.
watches.
What would they be doing out of the one out of the labyrinth, and two on in Chongjin?
Sia's gonna kind of explain everything from that memory, like what she saw there and creating the jade.
Right, right. Wessel goes, well, oh God, I can't. The voice is too unique for me to do without fucking hold my nose, and I kind of don't want to hold my nose. Wessel goes, well, if it is as dangerous as you say, then most assuredly that's where the gem might be. I mean, it's not. I don't think the queen would, put these gems in places that would be easily grabbable.
Well, a girl can hope, right? But you do have a point.
And I mean, if this is a place you've already been to, Sia, then unlike a town, I don't think it would have changed as much. That is, if it's still there.
True.
Well, it didn't really look like there was much of anything left in the vision that I had.
I guess we'll find out when we get there.
You see Wessel sort of anxiously sits and he goes, uh, there's something I've got to say. During my talk with the guy that I was after that I told you guys about, um, it turns out what I thought about him was wrong. Um, he wasn't part of the reason why my mother had died. He was there to make sure that she was dead. My mother was part of the group that now run the Eight Crowns. And it seems that they have taken her from her resting place, and she's being used to, I think, control the Warforged.
That's insane.
Oh, why would they do that with her?
Um, from what he could tell me in his sort of years of research, it's that the crowns are artifacts, or at least part of a singular artifact. Their ability of creation and control um, is almost, I don't want to say godlike, but up there. The issue, what he said, is that the crowns are blood coded. Only those of the blood of the original wearer may use the crowns. But the crowns are partially sentient or alive. I saw a vision of her, or at least part of what she remained to be, on a chair of iron. She had these like copper pipes and wiring strapped into the back of her, sitting on this chair. Energy was moving through her, but she wasn't really alive. I think they are using her and the crown to prop up the Kingdom of Eight Crowns as a whole. And because she never had any kids, and I'm certainly not her real son, this is the best that they can do.
Sounds like we're toppling a country. Or a city. Whatever we call it.
But uh, thanks to sort of a shared vision and the paperwork that he's been doing, I know where a potential crown wearer is. And just coincidentally, he is in Chongjin as well.
Oh.
He doesn't know why he's there, or what sort of official crown business that will warrant such a visitation by a crown member. But that's sort of the best I have. And if I can find him, then hopefully he will reveal to me where my mother is.
Well, it sounds like a couple of us have something to do while we're there.
Ezekiel goes, well, it seems that with all arrows pointing to Chongjin as the first place to go, it, you know, thank, thank, Alvina for helping us on this path, I guess, besides the Queen of Cats, of course.
I know we'll be passing 2 gems to get to Chongjin, but
Well,
it does just seem like this is the best place to start.
well, it's not like other people are heading towards them, Finch. I think, I mean, it might be dumb to say that we wouldn't be the only people trying to find them, but at least we're the only people that we know of that at least know where they might be.
Yes. And I'm not saying that we have all the time in the world to find the remaining 5. Just that,
We're not in as big of a rush as we might be, so to speak.
yeah, it's not quite a mad dash yet.
My small concern is that if what was said to us about Oza having fake gems is true, then he's not an idiot. I'm sure. Well, an idiot so far, but there will come a time when he will realize that they aren't true warlord gems.
Yes, well, that's why I would ideally, this may not fully come to pass, but ideally I would like to fetch the Cargonet gems last.
A sort of the final home advantage.
Yes, especially the one in or around Dhaka. I imagine that one probably hasn't moved all that far. The other ones are just where they were placed, the last place they were seen. The one in Old Bion Olgi, I imagine, hasn't strayed very far from the territories of the undead.
Yes, it's not like people are lining up to visit the place, is there?
Or sort of like there's a line of people who are leaving.
True.
The cats might have that gem. That's certainly true. Um, but yes, it would surprise me if it had been found by accident and carried out of Bion Olgi just by pure chance. So I would like to save that one for last. And then we're right next to Yingchuan, where we will be able to complete the ritual.
Do we know where this supposed ritual completion involving you is to be taking place?
No, but the queen knows. So we're not close. We're not far from her.
Hmm. Not far from help, anyway. I mean, with at least with us going to the Eternal Sun, there's a chance of getting a potential help from Danzok.
Yes, and if we are all horribly captured or killed, we have at maximum just 3. So we're not exactly getting caught with the whole key.
Hmm. All the eggs in a single basket, as they say.
Yes. So ideally, that would be how I'd like to do it. Chongjin up to the Eternal Sun, back down to the Karganet, and complete the journey. In which case, maybe we would come back down um, over the east side, maybe just ride down the mountain. That would also take us over to Vesta Fetus. So
A place to stock up and supply as well.
yeah, exactly. I also think, yeah, just the mountains would be good cover. It would be harder to spot our progress.
Yes, going by the map, Danzok pretty much owns at least half of the mountains as it is. And I dare say, with forward warning, it's not like we're going to be, you know, shot down by arrows out of the sky. At least.
Mm. But that's the current plan, so we'll have to see how Chongjin goes.
Fingers crossed that it's the hardest one, so that way all the others are a walk in the park by comparison.
It would be nice if it was the hardest one, but we'll have to see.
Um, all right then. He's sort of digging down on his 12th plate. Um, Wessel goes, well, I have nothing else that I need done in the city. So I can just stay here unless we want to do something.
I don't have a lot that I want to do in this city either.
Oh, I'm ready to go as well.
Not unless anyone had an appointment they made since the last time we all went and spent money.
Wessel and Ezekiel will go, no.
Well, then I think we're
We've
good
pretty
to
much
go.
done everything. We've spoken to the Queen, which we needed to do. We shopped to get supplies, with which we needed to do. The captain's alive. We got an airship. Those were all the main things, I believe.
Everything else we need to get done is not here.
All right. a member of the crew comes up and goes, Harold, apologies for the interruption, but um, two crew members, a Raijin and Fujin, wish to see you on the deck of the ship.
Alright, I'll be right there.
And with that, he sort of bows, turns away, and like fast walks out of there.
Alright, well, I guess I'll be back. Unless you guys want to come with.
Yeah. Well, nothing else to do. We might as well. At least see how they're going, anyway. We're concerned about their well-being.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So she's gonna go find them.
Ezekiel and Wes will follow. What about you, Mr. Finch?
No, I think I'll just hang out.
All right.
I don't know. Whenever it involves Raijin and Fusion, it's always like a oh that's Sia's thing.
No worries. So they head up to the deck of the ship. Wessel, Finch, can you just roll me a perception check for me, please?
I can indeedy. Uh. Just gonna use a shrewd investigator on that one. Not as impressive as it could be. Uh-oh, where's my D12? Uh-oh, it's my D12. Oh, it's that's better. Perception is going to be 24.
Alright, no worries. So yeah, you and the others reach the deck of the ship. A bunch of other crew members are around, sort of tying off the billows. I'm gonna say right now because I've just forgotten the words. The sails. Thank you. And you see Fujin and Raijin sort of standing where the rope to the ground is. And they see your approach and they sort of like meet you halfway. Raijin goes, Harold, received your message from the Thousand Cuts. And I ask, is it wise to leave the city in the hands of those that are using our religion in such a way?
Wise or not, it's not use killing ourselves. We've got to make sure our side of the religion can survive strong enough to go up against them. That means we have to find people in other towns before we can push against them. Then it might be the better option.
You're right. Apologies. We did not think that through, or at least that way. We were very much along the thought lines of, as we do everything else, which is tackling it head on.
I'm glad to see that you're willing, but we need to make sure that we can survive as well.
Understand. If that is the case, then we will leave with you.
Oh, glad to have you on board then.
As we do have experience in other towns and villages, that we can at least subtly spread the word.
Please do. And just while we're on the topic, have either of you been to Cheongjin recently?
Not recently. I think 2 years ago we were there. We were there for a sort of transport mission. We dropped off a bunch of arms and armor.
Alright. I do believe that's where our location is going. The next stop. Well, not the next stop, the next destination. Sorry. My words are all over the place, sorry.
No, that's perfectly fine. And Cheongjin is a strange place, Your Herald. It's half New Age, 8 crowns, and still vestiges of the old. At least on the town and village that are closer to the old mines, anyway. They seem to be really stuck in their ways.
Mm. All right.
It's
Well,
also it's also the only place that we're aware of that has uh, a councilman that isn't um, Arcosian.
oh, where are they from?
Well, sorry. Fusion goes. What he means is that they're not goblinoid.
I see.
Every other 8 crowns town, village, or city, their representative councilman is goblinoid, but Chongjin isn't one, and they haven't been for hundreds of years.
Do you know what they are currently?
Um, I apologize, Your Herald. Their name eludes me.
That's okay. I'm sure we'll find out in no time. Uh, and before I go, Sia's just kind of going to describe the other group she was talking with earlier. I don't want you to do anything offensive. Just keep an eye on them. Try not to let their teaching spread to others.
Uh, our eyes will be upon them, Herald. Uh, no worries. Um, and it's as if like a light bulb went off in their heads, and they go, "Ah, of yes." And we nearly forgot about our companion. And someone yells out that the heave, why aren't you lifting it higher? And then a giant, like 12 foot long, 3 feet high box gets lifted up onto the ship. Raijin sort of like kicks one of the hinges off, and the sort of long lid on it flips up, and sort of like slithering around inside it is Evander.
Why are you in a box?
Uh, Fusion goes, well, we had to put him in a box because when he wasn't, at the very least in this snake form, he was scaring the locals.
Understood. I won't pretend to Okay. If that's how it
Like,
needed to happen.
it's a prank.
I don't know if during your escapades within the city you heard, but there was a lot of panic about an undead sighting. He had gotten caught while
Okay.
trying to help us ascertain the location as to one of these prophets. But then it spread like wildfire, and then he chose to be in his snake form for a bit, but um, he got spotted quite a few times, and that created panic, so we had to make the decision to put him in a box.
Understood. Well, I'm glad that didn't escalate any further. That also explains some things. Alright. Anything else I need to know?
No, that is it, Harold. If no, there is one final thing, I guess. One of the prophets um, is a shifter. Isn't goblinoid.
So when you say a shifter, do you mean like me kind of shifter, or do you mean an actual shapeshifter?
No, like you, Harold.
Right.
Strangely enough, from the glimpses that we were able to see, we thought she was you. but she appears to be much, much older.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
And with that, they sort of bow and walk past you to head downstairs. The giant snake shifts back into Evander, uh, and it's hard to read his expression because his like face is covered apart from his eyes, but he has like a scowl like look, like he's just annoyed. Where he also just nods and then steps out of the box and follows suit.
Well, that was like Thea isn't actually laughing, but I absolutely am. That's amazing that he came in a box. But otherwise, she's just gonna return to Finch.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much everything until we leave, as far as I am aware.
Right. Um, it ends up time swings past until about midday, um, and still no one has come to speak to you, Finch, or made mention of potential meeting with supposedly the youngest son. Um, where the captain finally comes up and goes, "Maybe it's time we head off."
How late in the day is it?
Uh, Sun's basically at the center of the sky.
Um, would it be possible to leave a little bit later in the afternoon?
Yeah. Um, you want to leave when the sun's going down?
If possible, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally fine. Everything is now pretty much done. All the cargo's on board. All the provisions are on board. Um, the people, the specialists that I hired, they're all on board. We're good to go. You give the word, and we fly off.
Will do.
Uh, Ezekiel goes, I I I don't know who I don't know who is meant to be speaking to us, Finch, but I doubt they're coming if they haven't come already.
Um, just trying to give the maximum amount of time.
Hmm. I mean, if we are leaving when the sun is setting, from what I've been able to ascertain, the ship doesn't really give off any sort of lights. So for the most part, we'll be, leading off in the darkness in a way.
Yeah, ideally we would want to hit 8 crown borders when it's night, but I suppose once we're out on the ocean, we can kind of control when that is.
Yes. Well, uh, I still don't know exactly how fast this ship is compared to the last one. No one's been able to say yet.
I'm not sure anyone knows, but as long as the this one doesn't have the cost that the last one did, then that's fine by me.
No, I've searched the ship. There are no demons on board, and even had a sense. Nothing insidious is on the ship. at least like an hour ago.
So even the captain is back
Uh,
to his usual self.
the captain is indeed no longer demon coded. So whatever work was done to him, thanks to the Queen, um, and our friends through Danzok, the job got done. Thankfully. Um, it's not long until your patience pays off, Finch. As there is a crew member comes up to you, sort of oldish-looking goblin fellow, goes, "Ah, Officer Finch, there is a someone on the deck is waiting for you."
Oh, good. I'll come right now, and I'll sort of just get up and walk out, go have a look.
Uh, your pleasure, Officer Finch. Before he like sort of scuttles off, making your way onto the deck, you see that the captain is talking to an individual, and this individual is one that you have seen before. Uh, you know, pale dragon scale skin, like a sort of half dragonborn, half fey-like face. It's the guy that you chased at in the ship uh,
Mm.
not long ago.
Yep.
You see, walking up, you can see that the vibe that him and the captain are giving off is one of is jovial. Sort of the captain at least doesn't seem to have his guard up at all. And before he sort of like shakes his hand and walks away, gives you Finch a nod and heads down the stairs. As you come up to this figure, he sort of turns fully to you. You can see that the dragon scale that he has sort of like shimmers a little bit, flushing between like pale white and dull silver. And he goes, "Ah, you must be Finch."
Yes, that is me.
Ah, is that the case? I'd like to uh, apologize first for giving you that run around on the ship last time I saw you.
Oh, well, I feel like it's me that needs to apologize for, you know, scoring one on you in the back.
That your aim strikes true, Finch. That is for sure. Uh, now, are you aware as to why we're having this chat?
No, more so that there was a desire for a chat.
Right. In that case, I am aware through our mother that you are on the lookout for the last of the warlord gems. um, and I can give you the warning of at least one of them, as I was one of the people to hide this gem.
Right.
And that without my mother's knowledge, I have kept part of my memory as to where I placed it. Uh, to the north, into the kingdom of the eternal sun, there is a cave along the river, south of what once was the ruins of Chengdu. In this cave is a labyrinthian maze that stretches for what might feel like days, without proper preparation. And as far as my continual friends tell me, no one has entered that cave in the last 3 years. And that the gem is still somewhere within it. But there's a problem with the gem.
Oh, okay.
I have kept this hidden from Mother in case... There was a fear that you wouldn't return, so I kept the information to myself because it wasn't needed to be said, but something happened to that gem, Finch. It felt corrupted. I could not lay a hand on it without protection, at least physically, for fear of my mind turning against me. My friends dare not enter the cave, but those creatures that do, they get warped, turning into deranged creatures that haunt the mind.
You don't like.
And so, if you ever get to this place, I will be there if you need the help.
Well, I would appreciate all the help I could get, honestly.
Um, Unlike the rest of my siblings, I'm a bit more free in what I do. And know that uh, I'm not far if the call is needed. You'll want to look for canaries.
We are heading to Chongju first. Chongjin, sorry.
Near the heart of the beast.
So,
You are a dangerous fellow, Finch. Oh, not dangerous. I would say brave.
I mean, I can be dangerous.
I believe you could be. But so close to the heart of the Eight Crowns is it's no easy thing.
But as long as we don't encounter any severe complications in Chongjin, the plan is to head further north than that. So we will be skipping the one in Kuroshi Fortress and Nanjing initially. We'll be heading straight up to the top.
You notice him take attention to the names that you have just said, and you realize that he did not know where the others were.
Right.
Well, if you're heading north after Chongjin, then I will head north as well. I do have my own personal business up there, and we do have friends up there, not within Vestifitus, of course, but we can at least prepare for your eventual arrival.
I would appreciate that. And maybe this is premature to ask, but once we were to meet up in the north, um, would would you be coming back with us um,
Uh,
on our way back into Yingchuan?
we will see. I dare say that if our tasks are completed, once we are in the Eternal Sun, then I will more than likely grab as many of our allies as I can, and help get them home to the Cognate to shore up any sort of defenses that might be. I've heard whispers and talks that the Eternal Sun and the Eight Crowns are they're getting a bit antsy.
Oh, fair enough. Well, we'll meet you up top.
No worries.
Which place were we meeting you in again in the Eternal Sun? Or where should we meet beforehand?
Um, I can have set up a some encampments within the heart of the Quanjing swamplands, or at least a small encampment near the site of the second sun. Um, and if you arrive there to let them know, word will travel along, and then I will know. And then I will meet you there, or on your journey to where one of the gems might be.
All right. Well, I'll look forward to seeing a friendly face after whatever happens in the Eight Crowns.
Indeed, he says, smiles to you, and then hops off the ship.
All right, and I'll go and let the captain know that we can leave at his leisure.
No worries. You go and let the captain know. He says no worries. Makes his way to sort of the new sort of arcane control room. There inside is a set of um, illusionary fixtured like consoles that are up with some wizards and a sort of like an alarm sound goes off in the ship. And as it does so, the captain gives a warning that the ship is taking off, and then you feel the ship heave and then lift as the ship starts to take off up and out of the city of Yingchuan.
Excellent.
Uh, Meeting up, as he goes, so how did the talk go?
Um, yeah, it went all right. He said that he would meet us when we went to the Eternal Sun because he had knowledge about one of the gems up there.
I thought no one knew where the gems were.
Well, that can't be entirely true. You know, someone had to put them somewhere, and he personally put this gem away.
Very well. But a friend that knows where at least the gem is a friend that reliable. At least we won't know have to waste time searching for it.
Well, yes. There is a. He did say that it would be a bit of a tough one, though. So it's part of the reason why he wants to come along.
All right. Well, can't be as tough as where we're going for sure.
Well, I guess we'll have to see. But we're off now. We're heading out.
Indeed, it feels a lot smoother than the last ship, at least in my opinion, anyway. Did this fellow give a name, Finch? Do we know him?
Well, he's the guy who came aboard the ship and stole something of Anastasia's.
Wessel goes, that like Dragonborn guy?
um, well, he wasn't a dragonborn when I saw him. He was a rat.
I thought we were under the belief that he also left that message that Anastasia was to be jailed if she set foot in Yingchuan.
Yes, that was him. Yeah.
And he's helping us?
Well, the Queen told me that that was uh, the usual between the the siblings, apparently, so on and so forth. She did not seem particularly worried about what he had done while on board, although she was very worried when she found out that something had happened to her. So it just made me think that it's sort of a common occurrence.
You'll have some weird friends.
Well, it's part of the dynamics. When you come into a new group and you're trying to scope out the vibe of what we do and don't do.
Well, that's fair, I guess. Uh, who are we to say, you know, I never had any siblings, so I can't comment on, sibling behavior. If this seems to be a common occurrence for them, then, who are we to judge, in a way?
Well, or at least maybe it's not a sure thing. You know, that was sort of an act of villainy. Maybe just some sibling bullying.
Quite far for sibling bullying. I mean,
Mm.
Anastasia was pretty freaked out.
Yes, yeah, she was. But that's all right. Oh, we'll be able to find some answers, hopefully, at Chongjin.
All right. The captain finally meets up with you guys and he goes, right. Well, unlike the old Class 1s, this Class 3 sort of transport ship doesn't have the sort of special feature that that Class 1 had. So we won't be exactly going extreme distances in a short amount of time. But due to the arcane layworks within the ship itself and the additional arcane casters that I hired, we will be going on the base speed at least 3 times as fast. We will reach Altai by the morning.
Oh. Oh, that is significantly faster.
Yes, it was in the hindsight of exactly what me and Anastasia thought might happen. We decided that uh, sort of throwing money at the acquisition of more wizards to at least help power the ship uh, would be most beneficial. Without sort of the wizards throwing their arcane essence into the ship, the speed of the ship would be the same, uh, or at the very least a little bit faster than the Class 1 was at its uh, working speed. Without the downside of the ship having to be fueled that way. But it sort of means that um, if the wizards can't organize themselves in a proper fashion, um, we may have some small periods of downtime while they sort of recoup. But I don't see that being that big of an issue. I got them from a up and coming sort of wizard school they proclaim to be from. They're all young and aspiring people. Um, I sort of said that part of the job would be that we would be anything of magical that we find they would be able to get a look at and learn and study. Of course, I did not let on that, or at least I haven't told anybody, sort of the real reason or our real goal.
Probably a good idea.
We are, for all paperwork purposes, doing legal delivery runs. And all the crew know is that we're going to be heading to Altai to drop off, pick up delivery, go to Kaesong to drop off, pick up delivery, and then heading out to sea as a sort of, you know, sight to see. A lot of the crew being so far inland and with the threat of the undead from the old province haven't had the time or have just never seen the ocean before. So that's what they believe, and then we'll go from there.
All right. In terms of our navigation, I you know I will leave pretty much all of that up to you. You do have the expertise in this. If I were to say, like, we're going to be heading to Chongjin, then I'm perfectly happy for you to do whatever you need to get us there in a way that protects the ship and the crew. Um, you don't need to assume that I'm asking us to head there in a straight line, and you don't need to ask for my permission to take us in a western route or an eastern route.
Understandable, thank you. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't disregard any sort of opinions that you or the rest of the group might have in regards to what might be done. After all, we are partners and friends, so there's no real need for that. And I say we continue what we've always done, which is the truth and openness.
Yes. No, that will that has only rewarded us so far, so that won't change for us. Well, most of us.
Right.
I can't speak for Ezekiel, obviously, but the rest of us uh, will continue as we have.
As he goes, no, I will, be on my best behavior.
He'll be on his best behavior.
Right. Um, Captain goes, the only concerns that I have in regards to heading into the Eight Crowns is one, enemy airships, as this one wasn't made for ship to ship combat. It will all be boarding action fighting. If that is to happen, um, I am aware of at least two other classes of ships that were made for either air to ground or air to air combat. Um, and that, do you remember that sort of mutiny that we had a while ago?
Yes.
Yes, that Warforged. That is what I am most concerned about. Without Anastasia here, I am a bit blind to that.
Oh, yes, I suppose that would make sense.
So I can only say that wherever you meet in the Eight Crowns, be careful.
Well, I can tell you that not a lot of us have a lot of love for the Zaibatsu. So, yes, we will be more than careful.
Hmm. Well, that is good to hear. Um, we don't want any run the risk of letting in a spy or assassin. And to the best of my knowledge, everyone on board isn't a spy or assassin, as far as I'm aware of. I've done my best to vet them, but a lot of these people aren't strong on paperwork, and at least a quarter of them can't write.
I can't write.
Yes. Sort of during the hastiness of recruiting people, we kind of accepted some unlearned individuals.
Well, that's okay. Uh, we'll try to not bring anyone on board, or at least
Or at least make sure
vet
they
them.
are who they say they are, to the best of our ability.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure you're gonna have to worry too much about that. Ezekiel here is our sort of barometer for um, that kind of thing.
Ah, good. With that out of the way, uh, dinner soon, and same as it was before, I guess.
Well, if important matters are finished being discussed, I would like to ask if you'd be open to letting me run some lessons between sermons. If they're unlearned, why not teach them?
No, that's perfectly fine. Um, we part of no, that's perfectly fine. Um, we hired way more than sort of what we needed as a sort of just in case, and so there isn't really that much work to go around. Uh, a lot of people need to be trained up, but so many people can only be trained by so many trainers. So I'm more than happy for you to at least try and teach those that are illiterate to be illiterate.
Sounds like a grand plan. Thank you. And just add a character. It's kind of something to fill in the travel time for Sia
Yeah,
as well.
sounds good. And with that, he sort of nods at everybody and walks off.
So, back to the skies with us again.
Indeed, up,
We are
and
on our way.
away. Uh,
You're in my way.
with making great time between the city of Yingchuan uh, across to in the morning over at Altai. You guys sort of given dinner is served. Sia, you do a sermon. Can you roll for me a religion check, please?
Oh, cursed today, aren't I? Great. 11?
11. All right. Can you roll for me a D100?
Let's see. 35.
35. All right. So the ship has a crew, a base crew, uh, of 80 individuals. So yep. And of that 80, 20 of them are already converts.
Okay.
And through this sermon, you've been able to grab an additional 3.
Thank you.
Uh,
Alright, so it's 23 out of 80.
the crew also has a handful of specialists.
Mhm.
It's got 4 wizards, um, a uh, a sort of a jack of all trades blacksmith slash carpenter,
Mhm.
uh, and at least 10 veterans. Included in these veterans are Raijin and Fusion.
Thank you.
Um, as the rest of the sort of lateness of the night dies down, and sort of the watch changes to a handful of crew to make sure things are up and running. You are visited by Raijin and Evander, who has taken his sort of still sticking with the uh, order you had given him to like watch over them. Every time he looks at you, it's like this look of like, can you order me to do something else? But Rajan goes, we, from what we've seen today, this group that you spoke of, um, nothing seems too much out of the ordinary. Very much from what normal, you know, commoners are like within Yingchuan. But uh, the leader of the group, this Raven, uh, he doesn't really eat. Whether that
Hmm.
is due to the first time flying nerves, which um, isn't as uncommon as some might think, or just that he isn't hungry. It's just that compared to the rest of his compatriots, he ate a lot less.
But he still eats something.
Yes. Um, if I wasn't under the suspicion of him, I would hand wave it, but it is something. If
Oh,
anything, he eats like it's new. The difficulties
okay.
of using chopsticks and forks is apparent. Highly odd.
That is very helpful. Thank you.
By your will, Harold. Um, apart from that, things are going well. Uh,
Oh,
and with that, he sort of nods and takes his leave.
I'm gonna stop Evander before he goes.
He stops and turns.
I know this isn't really what interests you, but it is still a change of mission. If you can keep an eye on that person we were just discussing secretly, try not to get caught. I want to know if he may or may not be a Warforged.
Um, Evander nods his head and then takes his leave.
All right. I'm assuming the others were there for the conversation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys
Well, that's
have
my
you guys
suspicions.
have your own room on the ship. Uh,
Well,
the in regards to the layout of the ship's roomage, there is two sections of the levels of the ship that have rooms, and you guys and sort of the a lot of the more higher members of the crew are on one level, uh, and so the others are on the other level. That's more like what it was before, which is a lot of bunks in a large room. On that level is also where the captain is staying, or where the captain's room is.
yeah, kind of just explain that's my suspicion. If he's not eating, if he might be a Warforged, and if not, at least we know that's not a concern yet.
Ezekiel goes, well, I mean, if he is a Warforged, that would explain why. It would give reason as to why no sort of alarm bells ring off when I try to sense anything. He at least isn't from another plane or undead. I mean, what Rajan says, sort of, he speaks true in regards to first-time flyers not eating so well. I saw a handful of other individuals sort of hesitantly eating as well, holding their stomachs, but I don't know.
Oh, it'll be good to be prepared, just in case.
Mm. At least this time, worst case scenario, he works against us. At least we're aware of it this time. And if he's not, then no harm, no foul.
I'd rather not get surprised by another mutiny while we're in the air.
Yes, a much larger ship with a much larger crew, but I think thanks to you and and the religion, I dare say we won't be on the back foot as we were last time.
Right.
Uh, and then you guys sort of think about the mutiny from last time. Uh, no crew member is holding or has a gun. There are no arcane rifle weapons like what you have seen before on this ship. In fact, it doesn't look like any of the crew members are at least wielding conventional weapons.
Well, if we do get into a fight, looks like combat's on us.
Or at the very least, uh, they'll we'll have to be boarding or get boarded to do the damage. With the crew, anyway.
Wessel goes, uh, I mean, their weapons might just be in the cargo hold. Maybe it was the captain's orders to sort of safeguards against a future mutiny, just in case. I mean, the regular crew members I haven't seen wield weapons, but Raijin and Fujin still had their weapons on them.
I mean, speculating's not going to get us anywhere. We could always just ask the next time we see the captain.
True.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing.
Are we still just leaving, or is it just like the first night?
No, you guys have like left Yingchuan, left it behind. It's in the dark. It's sort of during the night. It's hard to see. There's some low lights that have been like lit on the deck of the ship. Uh, but apart from that, it's the way the captain has set the ship up. There's not much really. It'd be hard to tell like from the ground that there is an airship in the sky, at least in regards to you guys. Um, uh, and sort of you guys, if you want to guys wanted to stay up and see sort of outside and look out, that's your thing. But you probably got like 8 more hours before you get to Altai.
Oh, long rest sounds good.
With no sort of objections from Ezekiel and Wessel, they also agree that hitting the sack is probably for the best. You guys are given a key to your own room. You get given one, so your door can be locked. And your room has its own set of like chests and containers to store any gear that you don't need on you at the time.
Hunter.
And with that, everyone gets hits the sack, and you guys sort of wake up in the morning.
Full pointeroos.
Um, Waking up, you still feel the ship moving, so you haven't hit Altai yet, but you do hear like a lot of movement, like footsteps and walking and running throughout the ship itself.
Work is happening.
Work is happening. stepping outside of the room, having a look um, through some of the port like the ship windows, you can see that you are below the clouds. Um, it doesn't feel it, but looking outside, you can see the clouds getting higher, and the ship is descending. Uh, Moving along through the ship, greeted by Raijin, who goes, Herald, Captain wishes to inform you and your compatriots that we'll be landing in Altai in about 30 minutes.
Well, thank you.
No worries. And he turns to walk away.
Out of character, as someone who gets a lot of interruptions somehow, why are we here again?
So you're in Altai as a sort of the first stop to sort of it's a case of you guys are heading to Altai and then Kaesong and then out to sea.
Okay.
Stopping in Altai and Kaesong because on the paperwork and sort of officially, you're here on transportation business to both drop off, pick up stock, to then do the same at Kaesong before you head out to sea and sort of wait for like your next call up order. But sort of the real reason is to um, uh, just have a look in regards to how much of the resources of the ship are used between that sort of distance. Sort of restock back up, get to Kaesong, and then sort of have a surplus of gear in the event of not having a safer place to land when you guys
Right.
enter into the Kingdom of Eight Crowns.
Right. So no official business in regards to our party specifically.
Yes, this is just a sort of facade.
Right. Huh? How long do we expect to be in town for?
You are unsure. No one's been given any sort of timeline details in regards to how long this sort of thing might take place. Unless you guys wanted to find the captain or one of the veterans to inquire about it.
I would like to do that because might as well explore town if
Yep.
the time permits.
Yeah. You're able to find one of the older veterans, from the old ship. He's sort of the bugbear that felt like he might have been the second in charge to the captain at the time, like a very older, like 40-year-old bugbear. Like portions of his like hairy body are hairless, where like scorched and scar marks have sort of taken their place. And he goes, uh, uh, Officer Seer, how are things? We're landing soon in Altai.
Oh, that's good to hear. Do we have an estimate of how long the restock will take?
Um, from what the captain was saying, we've got as sort of this will be the first thing of us doing it at such a large size. Captain doesn't want to rush it, so
Mhm.
he's given us a couple of hours to stock take first, um, sort out what we are trading with Altai second, doing the trading, and then stocking back up. So maybe 4 or 5 hours.
Right. Thank you for that.
No worries.
Then just back with the group. Do
Yeah.
we want to check the docks out or do we just want to stay on the ship?
Ezekiel goes, well, it wouldn't be a bad thing to at least, see the town instead of staying on the ship for a couple of hours anyway. Stretch our legs more than what we already do walking around the ship. Something new would be nice.
I agree.
All right. and it's not long before you feel the ship sort of um, hit solid ground, and there's a slight like jolt and shake before a system, before the words ring out by the captain going, landing ho. And then you hear the sound of the ship's workers start to do the job that is required of them. Wetzel goes, well, if we might as well go have a look, check out the town. Probably, nothing worth our interest, but at least we can see what, other parts of the Karganet are like besides the city.
I see no reason not to.
Mr. Finch, are you going to go with the others to peruse through Altai?
Yeah, might as well. Just have a look around.
All right. You guys make your way up to the deck, where you see that they're getting the sort of the doors have swung open on the entrance to like the main storage hold where everything is. You see the captain with a bunch of parchments and paper, writing things down. Items are being counted. Captain looks up and he goes, "Yeah, well, this shouldn't take that long. It's not going to take all day. I give us 5-6 hours. But if you're not back by then, we'll come find you."
Sounds good. We'll try to be back as soon as possible.
Excellent. With that, he goes back to sort of doing his main captainly duties, and heading towards the edge of the barrister of the ship. You guys see the town of Altai, and it is reminiscent of old Arcosis. It doesn't look like there's been any sort of modern improvements, um, it's like a place that has not changed at all, um, except for you can see like newer constructed buildings towards the western side of the town from where you guys are like sort of standing, that do look made out of stronger materials. um, Up to sort of like the northern part, you can see the beginnings of like the hills and the mountains in the distance, and then further up past them, you can see the branches of the burning tree. Ezekiel goes, right, well, I guess we have a look around. And with that, him and Wessel take off to the side.
Is there anything in particular that kind of catches attention? Like I don't know. I suppose there's not really anything we're looking for, but just sightseeing for the time being.
Yeah. Sort of making your way through the town itself, the only sort of like eye-catching things in a way is just that on every what appears to be major street corner are statues of the Queen, um, that are all like immaculate, and they look like they've either just been made or at the very least they're kept clean thoroughly. Um, Sort of the only sort of things in the town that are of any note, so to speak, are the old I was about to call them Regashians. Rekshashan Inn of the Drowning Well, which looks like has been sort of burnt down and then rebuilt. It looks like it was meant to be much larger, but the structure, it's seen better days. Um, Sort of apart from that, it's feels like a very average Arcosian town.
Cool.
Um, that'll do it. As you guys are sort of walking around and sort of taking it in and being like, there's, in regards to the thing, this town doesn't have much to offer. Walking up to you for is a like elderly looking centaur, draped in like finery, flanked by at least four other like armored centaurs, coming up to the group and goes, "Ah, may I guess that you have arrived from the airship outside of town?"
Yes.
Ah, well then, may I personally welcome you to my humble town of Altai, and hope that it treats you well. We are fortunate in our location, in that our roads are safe, our people work, our taxes get paid. It's a some would say unfortunate, but I am thankful that it is a boring town.
So much going on in the world. Boring is a nice change.
Yes, that is what I say, and to others in my position, things could be worse, and worse is not something that I wish for me or those under my care. My only warnings are, hey, keep to yourselves, commit no crime, um, and don't enter the mountains. And that's about it.
Sounds easy to follow.
Yes. Um, I dare say, by the looks of things, this town does not have much to offer you in the ways of items or entertainment. But I guess when you know, work on an airship, you've seen brighter things. Ah, apologies. And he sort of bows and he goes, "My name is Valerian Vorus. I'm daimyo of this town."
Daimyo.
Yes.
Is that like a mayor?
Yes, it would be the imperial equivalent of mayor or other important title, but I foresee over the town I am its keeper. And though my name is not Arcosian, I was born here. Just that my parents named me after a friend of theirs. Um,
It's a pleasure to meet you.
yes. Uh, would I be safe to inquire about where you are headed off next?
Well, we're heading to if you mean for airship,
Yes, yes.
we're heading off to Kaesong next for our next sort of pickup and delivery.
Well, could I offer you, or at least could I ask a favor then?
Sure. I can see if we can do something.
Yes. I just haven't had the sort of time this morning to speak to the captain yet in regards to this, but my brother in Kaesong, I have something of his. And if you're going there, it would certainly save me the trip. For I have a package for him.
Sure. What's the package?
Um, I don't have it on me, but it's just a box full of old family valuables after our father passed away.
Okay. Well, does he know about the family valuables?
Yes, he knows. Um, I just, I just haven't made the time. If you understand, just every time I think about delivering it, I think about my father. I get sad, and then I guess I just don't end up doing it.
Well,
But if you were heading to Kaesong, I can, in a way, I can let go of my problems.
well, since we're going there already, I suppose it wouldn't
And
impose on us too much.
yeah, and I will and can pay you, of course, for this trouble.
Um, well, that depends on. We don't actually know if we're coming back here.
No,
After K-Song, we'll be waiting for further orders to come through.
well, I can pay you in advance. It's just that, you know, once I see that you have it and that you are flying off away, I can rest assured that you are more than likely heading, going where you say you are going, and so paying you beforehand is certainly not an issue.
Well, if you're okay with that, then yeah, sure.
All right. In that case, I will head back to my place, and then I will see you at the ship with the goods.
Sounds good.
And with that, he sort of bows and he walks back the way he came with these guards.
Did that guy like know you?
Nah. More than I know. I don't think I've ever met him.
He's
Ziku
quite
goes, and
friendly for a stranger.
I have certainly never met him. In my experience, I've never met a Golden Horde centaur who was as friendly as that chap.
Well, and I kind of like. Actually, I don't know. I don't know if Finch would do this. Nah, fuck it, he'll do it. I kind of like intermittently like look at Ezekiel while I say this, and I go, well, if his pleasantries were suspiciously positive, then maybe it would be worth checking out whatever the package is. Just to sort of make sure it's okay. But I don't really want to go through someone else's belongings, especially after they've entrusted it to us. So I'm not sure what we'll do in that case.
I mean, I only speak from my own personal experience, Finch. From my personal experience, uh, the Golden Horde Centaurs are strongly independent peoples, and they don't really, go out of their way to ask strangers for help, especially those that aren't Arcosian. And none of us are certainly Arcosian. I mean, we could always ask the captain if he says he is who he says he is.
Mm, I'm not. I'm not doubting he is who he says he is. Just more so, his motivation. More so. Just, I don't know. Just very interested in speaking with us, and Very friendly.
Yes. I mean, I understand that he might have suffered the grief of losing his father, but if he says the town is as boring as he makes it out to be, then there would be time. I mean, why not send one of his own?
It's also like telling someone not to do something specifically to try and get them to do something. Why mention the mountains?
True. Uh, I mean, from what I'm aware, you know, the mountainous region is dangerous, sure, but inadvertently telling us not to go?
Oh, well, yeah, actually, that is weird, because we did already say we were going somewhere else.
I mean, uh, they're on basis. The mountains, you know, in this area, uh, have never been given an official name. Um, from my time down here, they were just called, at least locally, the Dread Mountains. People that entered the mountains were never seen again. But the mountains were also filled with dangerous beasts and it was sort of accepted that that's where they lived. Warriors would go in there, and sometimes they'd come back with, you know, trophy prizes. But apart from that, it's, you know, they're just dangerous mountains, like any other dangerous mountains before.
Well,
It is weird.
And it's not like we have the time to go and do the reverse of what he wants.
maybe we're just an overly suspicious bunch.
That could be the case here, but I think being overly suspicious keeps us safe.
Well, let's. That's why I'm glad that you can be suspicious for the rest of us, Ezekiel. I can rest easy knowing that there's someone who's putting in 3 times the work on being suspicious of everyone and everything.
I appreciate that, Finch. Thank you.
But yes, again, we don't really have time. It is weird, but you know, maybe it's there's more than just us in the world. If there's something going on, maybe we'll just say something. Someone else can look into it.
Um, sure, but who would we speak to about that?
I don't know, the royal family. I don't know, someone. Just mention it.
In passing, hey, by the way, uh, some daimyo at Altai said not to go into the mountains. What's up with that?
Yeah, the next time I speak to the queen, I could just mention that Altai was a little weird. Maybe we'll get more answers in Kaesong.
Maybe. I mean, maybe if he does have a brother there, when we get some answers from him. Yo, hey, sorry about your dad dying, but also, what's up with your brother?
I would
Well, we
suppose
don't
there's
have
a
to ask that
gem
directly.
in this area.
There is supposed to be one, not close, but not far either.
But
I mean,
not in the mountains?
I don't want to say while we're on the ground. No, not towards the mountains. No.
Right.
However, it is worth mentioning that we only know where they were last seen,
Yeah.
not necessarily where they are right now. It's possible it's moved into the mountains.
Maybe he had a gem on him.
No, I don't know. I think I would feel it
Right.
when I get quite close. I physically react.
Very well. I guess we either head back to the ship and I guess wait for him.
Sounds good to me.
Wessel agrees.
Did we want to grab something to eat while we were out here?
Well, we could go to the drowned well.
That way we're just not eating the ship's supply. I know it's one meal. It's being kind of stingy, but I would like to try and stretch the supply as far as we can. We're asking the crew to do quite a lot for us.
You're right.
Be nice to eat something different too.
Yes, well, yeah, I think the variety of meals the ship can provide is definitely I could count on one hand.
Yes, a lot of hardtack, pemmican, and stew.
Right. Well, I guess we head to the drowned well.
Sure.
All right.
You have money, don't you, Ezekiel?
No, Wessel has my money.
Okay, well, then you and Wessel, I guess, are ordering together.
Wessel goes, that's okay. He can start to handle his own money later on when it's uh, not as safe.
Well, I mean, considering that now Munakata doesn't want your money, but revenge, I think you can start carrying gold on you again, probably.
Well, Finch, that that definitely makes sense. But if I don't have money on me, then there's less chance of me spending more than I have, or getting into debt.
Well, why would you be scared of that, Ezekiel?
Well, maybe scared is the wrong word. Concerned, a better one.
That's just another word for scared, isn't it?
Look, Wessel has shown that he is a good handler of coin. And I'm sure, when this is all said and done, he could take up a job in accounting someplace. And so I'm more than happy that he takes care of that for me.
Well, that doesn't sound practical in any way. But if that's how you want to justify that, then sure. But it is very heavily a giving excuse.
Well, how about this? After today, I will start carrying around coin. Wessel, after today, can you lend me a couple of coin to watch over?
Do you even remember how much you had?
No, I do not.
Well, it's a good thing Wessel's an accountant, isn't it?
I'm sure Wessel wouldn't, cheat me out of the money that I am owed, surely.
Well, it's not like you're gonna... No, are you?
Wessel's a great friend. He wouldn't lie to me.
But he will give you a cursed coin.
Well, that surely. Anyway, let us make our way towards the drowned well.
Ezekiel remembered his beef in that. He just remembered the beef and said, "Damn, they're right."
Oh, you make it too easy to tease you.
Yes. I can only thank that Danzok is no longer with us. Otherwise, it would be much worse.
Alright, well, let's have a look what's on the menu.
You guys make your wards towards the drowned well. Um, stepping inside, there's a lot of empty seats, empty tables. There's a handful of individuals already munging away at like a late breakfast, early lunch sort of thing, brunch. And at the back, where there is an empty shelved bar, is a human cleaning some mugs dressed in sort of a normal barkeep's getup. As you guys sort of further in, he goes, new customers, eh? Thank you. What can I get yous?
What's on the menu?
Well, today's special is Sulong duck roasted with a side of roasted vegetables. And my special, that's all that we have for today.
As someone who is actually hungry in real life, that sounds amazing.
But, that's all we got. And the only thing we got to drink is a special brew of water.
Like, tea?
Well, it's not tea. It's water, but it doesn't taste like water. It's been handcraftedly brewed to taste like sunflower petals.
Right.
But that's all we've got, which is probably all you're going to order. So I'll get that prepared up. And that'll be, 30 silver each.
30 silver, did you say?
Yes. Ezekiel comes in, Finch, and sort of whispers, 30 silver is quite a lot.
Why do you want some?
Well, Whistle has me covered, but for such a small town, a meal sort of this would cost probably no more than 5, maybe 6 silver at most.
Well, this is this man's establishment. He's able to charge what he wants, I suppose. I mean, I'm not getting any.
In comparison to what we've seen in the city and price-wise of food there, like I understand we probably didn't order a lot, but we would have seen the menu. Would this be normal, or is this like extremely a lot?
This is a lot. Just from sort of old hand person experience from you, Sia, and in regards to like Finch, Ezekiel, and Wessel from other towns sort of in the past, and then from going to the city, walking past like places to eat and food stores, 30 silver is quite a lot of money for what could amount to be sort of like a basic roasted meal.
I feel offended that that's the price that you're quoting us.
Why, offended? How so?
For a basic roasted meal, 30 silver is way too much. Like, even the city doesn't cost that high.
Look, lady, I don't know what to tell you. This is good, worth the 30 silver. These are hand raised ducks. You know, this is premium quality poultry.
I would hope that any meal would be quality and hand raised.
Well, if you're from the city, you don't know. You know, where's the land that they keep all their animals at? Where's the land that they, you know, get their farm and their barley and all that? You know, there isn't any. How do you know what you're eating is what you're eating? It's really why they charge so little, so they get away with it. No one asks any questions. But out here, this is quality food, worth the price. And if you don't like it, you can go back to the city.
And out of character, I can't think of a way to argue the fact that she's also a merchant, and that is very much too much. I suppose you have any ideas, Finch?
No. I'm just going to I'm gonna eat here. Anyway. I'm gonna skip the stupid flower water though. But I'll eat 30 silver. Hey, if that's what I gotta pay to stretch the rations an extra day or two on the ship, then I'll pay 30 silver for that.
Didn't see us not paying 30. I'll offer you 10 if it's a quality you really think it is.
Well, you won't be getting the food until you pay. 20.
10 until I can see what he's got.
15.
I can do 12.
14.
12. 5 copper.
Roll a persuasion check.
Alright. The way my rolls have been going lately, it's not gonna... Why are you freezing? Stop freezing. 7 on the dice, but that is a total of 15.
Alright. Done. Well, Wessel hands the barkeep 60 silver and goes, I'm not going to argue.
Fair enough.
And he goes, take a seat. You know, you'll get it shortly. And you see him walk out of a back room.
Still feel like that was too much, but... Seriously, you guys are going to pay 30 for this?
Well, to be honest, I don't really use my money all that much.
Yes, Sia, we're not really money people.
It's no wonder you're always in debt.
You know, it's we always seem to have enough, is what I say. You know, it's not like we're buying land and property. You know, we're lucky enough to have found ourselves constantly within the open armedness of friendly faces.
Well, it's good to be able to cover yourself, but it's also good to know when you're being scammed.
True. But I think my expertise is trying not to be scammed through magical deals and twisting of words.
Alright, fair enough. Either way, I have no doubt he's making a profit out of our meals. That's all he will need for this.
And about 5-10 minutes go by where he comes out with a helper to plate you guys the roasted duck with vegetables, and all but Finch is given a cup of sunflower water. And it most definitely looks like it is not what it was worth in price.
What? I didn't want the cup of water.
I said everyone but Finch.
Oh, right.
He goes, "Here you go. Enjoy. Thanks for paying." And you see he walks up with a big smile on his face. As he goes, "Well, what's there to say, Sia? I guess you were right."
It comes with practice.
You know, if he was charging exorbitant prices for good meals, I dare say he'd be a Rakshasa in disguise.
Are the Rakshasa you were with really that bad?
No.
What do
Like-
you...
One of them was.
No, they were all bad.
Well, it weighs very little when you say it, Ezekiel.
I dare say every time...
The thing is, Sia, is that there's a racial tension between Leonin and the Rakshasa. I don't know if it still exists in this time, but you know, Ezekiel here is from an older generation of people who just don't get along with other people.
I think Sia would understand. She's older than I am.
Well, she's also not part of the cat race wars or whatever is going on.
Look, Sia,
Weren't Rakshasans slaves at one point for the Leonin in Rigash?
No. As much as some would have wished it, the Rakshasans were never slaves. They always had slaves, but they were never slaves, at least to us. They're more like bad cousins. Either way, Sia, we've had our fair share of Rakshasan run-ins, and not one of them has been good. They've either given
No,
us...
most of them were pretty good. One of them even tried to ask me out on a date.
Which was probably a trap of some sort.
Well, we'll never know.
Oh.
If it wasn't for Rakshasan, we would have had a better life. You know, they originally gave us... they started us on this.
One Rakshasan started us on this.
That's all it takes, Finch. One.
Yeah, and then almost every other one we've come across since then has been very helpful. The one at the sharpened table was very helpful. Although you might remember that night differently because he wouldn't let you skimp out on your incredible debt that you did acquire.
Well, that was one occasion. All right. Every other, Rakshasan that we've come across has eyeballed us, spoken to us in riddles, not really helped
Hey,
us
damn
out.
right they eyeballed us. They asked me out on a date.
That was one time, Finch. What about the other times that we've spoken to them? They're not trustworthy people.
Can't the same be said about the Leonin? Or any race?
I will dare say that those born from the Queen of Cats are an honorary, trustworthy people, and who have committed not much wrong in the world. Pillars of Regashian society, is what I say.
Is that why you're not that great? Because you're not in Regesh?
No, I was definitely a pillar of Regashan society, and then I was given a quest to head out to here, and here I am, and this
And
is
then that
where
stopped happening.
yeah, things keep happening, Finch.
So the quality of the character is not really there to trust that the Rakshasans are all terrible, terrible people. They're just they follow their ways, um, and it just so happened that we were on the opposite side of a smaller sect of those beliefs. So there were some who were trying to put obstacles in front of us, and there were just as many trying to clear them out of our way.
Look, all I can say, Sia, is that we now live in a time where there are no, Rakshasans within the normal society. Now they're down in their own segregated city.
And you'll have to get used to liking them because we are going there.
Yes, I'm well aware, Finch. We will be going there. I'm not
And
just going
if
to.
you piss them off, that's a whole city of pissed off Rakshasas.
Well, not as.
And if we all get caught and they say, hey, we're going to let you go, but the Leonin needs to stay with us so that we can chop off all his nails and make a potion with him that we then force him to drink that makes all of his hair fall out and his guts spill out of his stomach.
Then my friends surely would come and rescue me.
And then we would leave and let the sun rise over Arcosis once more.
Sia, surely you wouldn't leave me alone in a jail cell.
That turned dark very quickly. What kind of imagination do you have?
Well, the Rakshasa. Well, listen. Actually, I saw those cats eat a guy. Okay, so they definitely can get quite dark themselves. All I'm saying is that if the Rakshasa come down upon Ezekiel, and it is Ezekiel's fault, I am giving him weeks of warning in advance so that you know to be. I don't want you on your best behavior because for you, Ezekiel, best behavior is a vague, amorphous idea. Okay. I need you on proper civil lawful behavior. And I know I have to say that specifically because that is above your best behavior. Lawful civil behavior, not best. That is a standard. I don't want a standard.
Finch, as a paladin of the Queen of Cats, I can be lawful. Upon my oath, I can be lawful.
I don't know if how strong that oath is if a paladin, quote, emphasizing can end quotes be lawful. I would imagine you were lawful all the time in regards to the Queen of Cats. Not unless I don't know much about the animal lords themselves, but unless she's quite loosey goosey with how she likes to operate, I would imagine your oath would be pretty strict.
Uh, upon her whiskers, my oaths are strict, yes.
Then
Now, when we are talking lawful, we mean Kojin lawful, not Queen of Cats lawful.
Yes, well, I have been pretty lawful while I've been in Narcosia, that's for sure. I have stolen nothing, committed no crime.
you've been pretty lawful. Not the strongest choice of words.
Yes,
Oh,
well, what the Queen of Cats don't know doesn't hurt her, I'm sure.
What she doesn't know. What are you cheating on her?
I'm not cheating on her, but surely if my deeds ran against my oath, Finch, I would be stripped of my gift. My powers would be gone. I would become like the average commoner. Weak and alone. I still have gifts. I still have my strength. My holiness has never faltered, and surely I must still be on the right path.
That conversation aside, how long do we have to get back to the ship?
I would say, well, you guys still got like 3.5 hours.
Hmm. How does the water taste? Like, is it actually any good?
Uh, it tastes like sweetened water, not honeyed, but it kind of just tastes like water that someone's like swirled sugar in. Definitely nothing to write home about.
Um, oh, damn it. Where am I?
Um, you do notice though that one of the tables sort of away from you. Not the table has moved closer, but the two individuals that were at that table have moved closer to you guys. A young-looking tiefling girl and an older-looking goblin fellow. They talk when you talk, and when you guys don't talk, they don't.
Okay.
Okay, I really don't like it here. Maybe we should have just stayed on the ship.
Why don't you like Altai? The prices are too high, and the water tastes like shit.
I guess if there's a lull in conversation and we're not leaving yet, Sia will try to make, because she's got raw tools on her, she'll try to make it taste a little better.
Yeah. And for the most part, you succeed, but yeah, it's definitely an acquired taste. But Wessel seems to enjoy his.
How much sugar is a child rabbit able to consume?
Uh, well, Wessel goes, I don't really know, but it tastes pretty good. The roasted duck is a bit whatever, and the vegetables were pretty much the same.
How many people are in here right now eating food as
Uh,
opposed to drinking something?
so there's you four, the two individuals that are now close by, and a sort of group of about 8 individuals that have sort of arrived earlier, but enough time has passed that they have all received their own versions of roasted duck and vegetables with drinks of sunflowered water. The larger group look to be like common farmers and workers. Ezekiel goes, right, well, I'm done. I'm not drinking this flowered water anymore. Uh, with nothing else to do besides Altai. We go back to the ship.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Maybe see if the this daimyo is waiting for us or has already left his package. I don't think we told him we were going to get something to eat.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Right then. And stands up, pushes his plate in. Wessel does the same. Back to the ship then.
And we'll head back.
All right. You guys up off the tables. As you're leaving, the barkeep goes, "Thank you for your stay and your hard-earned coin." Um,
I'll give him a nice little nod.
and you guys make your way back towards the ship, where it looks like the work has swapped from stock being dropped off to now stock being put onto the ship. You see making your way closer. You see that the captain is sort of at the edge, sort of counting as things are being brought over, being pulled up by pulleys and rope. And you see that the daimyo is sort of having in conversation with some other workers that are there with his guard. And you see that one of his guard is holding a large wooden chest, sort of about like 30 inches, like a ruler high and like 2 rulers wide. Um, he notices that you guys are approaching before he sort of cuts the conversation short with the worker before he goes back to working, and then makes his way to sort of meet you guys halfway. And he goes, yes, here is the chest of personal belongings. I should have asked if you, were coming straight here or still looking throughout the town. I apologize for that. I've been waiting here for quite some time.
I guess we're sorry too that we didn't let you know that we were still sort of looking around.
But no harm, no foul. I was able to have variable, interesting conversations with fellow workers of your vessel. Yes. And he gestures for the guard to put the chest down on the ground and sort of like move it across. And he goes, this is the chest to be received by my brother. He is working within the sort of an old console there within Kaesong. And he pulls from his sleeve a bag of coin to hand out to you, Finch. And this is advanced payment.
All right. How much is that?
As you sort of take the coin bag off him, you feel it's a little bit heavy, and sort of as you sort of open it to look, there's about 50 electrum pieces in it.
50 electrum. I mean, that's a fair bit. That's like, 500 gold or something? No, it wouldn't be 500. 250.
This is, thank you for taking care of this for me. With this I can let go and move on.
No, that will be, it's on the way. We may as well help. I'm not sure when we'll be leaving though, so we might still be around for a little bit. But you said you always put it off, so I guess in a day or 3 is better than never.
Yes. Finally the stars have aligned for me to lay my personal issues to rest.
Well, no, thank you for this. And if you could tell us a little bit about your brother so that we could deliver it to him exactly,
Ah, right,
that would be nice also.
right. So, you'll be looking for a centaur much older than I. Uh, uh, long grey beard. His hair is on his mane down, basically flows down to past his shoulders. A deep brownish black. Um, but unlike myself, he has a more traditional Arcosian name of Ryuvian Kalashta.
Reunion Kalashta.
Yes.
Oh, I forgot that's a different folder.
The console is located on the far northern side of the town. Um, shouldn't be too hard to miss. It's like the only building there in Kaesong that's like 4 stories high.
Got it.
And with that, I will take my leave. I have some more boring paperwork to attend to.
All
Uh,
right.
Thank you for visiting and partaking in my town.
Yes. Well, we went to the Drowned uh, Inn and or Drowned Well, and um, you know, we just wanted a quick refreshment, and the prices were unusually high. Is that sort of a standard across the town?
Uh, Unusually high, you say? How much was he charging for the roasted duck today?
Well, it was sort of it was around 30 silver.
30 silver! By the hooves of the ancestors, that is quite a lot. I will have a word with him.
Well, no, it wasn't like reporting him or anything. Just asking if that is the usual. But I guess
I'll
if
report him.
well, I just yeah, I was just asking because it was very high. I paid. I didn't complain or anything like that. Um, it was just the first place I stopped, so I was unsure if that was
No, no,
the
no, no,
regular.
no. That is definitely not the regular, and I will be having a word about him for charging that much to visitors for our town. It does not exactly give us a good look. But thank you for bringing this to my attention.
And well, I guess I'm glad to be of service.
Um, but how did you like the roasted duck, and did you like the sunflower water?
It was all right. I didn't have the sunflower water though. I decided to skip that. It didn't sound very nice.
No, it is definitely an acquired taste. That is for sure. No harm on those that can't or don't like the taste, but it is definitely something that we are unique for. The sunflowers are grown thanks to a stream that comes down from the mountains, really flushes the flowers out.
Uh, well, I didn't have any in any case, but you know, you can ask Sia if she had some.
It was okay. Essentially, what you marketed it for, and she's gonna. I don't know if this is something you directly would be interested in, but she will make like a couple offhand suggestions on other things that could be added to make variations in different flavors.
I will pass that information along, or at the very least, keep it with me and write it down for future use. Thank you very much. You
No,
did not strike me as someone that would be, how do I say, acquainted within that field.
not the most experienced, but there is experience there.
Very well. And with that, thank you very much. And he bows, and then him and his guards walk away. The chest itself that is left behind for you guys to pick up is definitely nothing like noteworthy. Um, it's basically plain with two iron sort of reinforcements on the chest itself. Looks to be sort of opened via way of key, but the sort of lock on the key, it has a sigil on it, and the sigil is in the shape of a centaur fighting a snake.
Does anyone have anything to sort of check this thing without opening it?
Ezekiel goes, I certainly don't, and I kind of don't. I think I'll just get some of the crew members to add it to the list of things to be put on the boat, and then I'll just keep an eye on where it gets placed. Wessel goes, I wouldn't know how to see what was inside the chest without, opening it. He didn't exactly give us a key. I mean, he didn't say his brother would have a key to the chest either.
I just want to make sure this isn't full of that red stuff.
What red stuff?
The stuff that would make this box a very potent bomb.
Ah, red crystals.
Crystals, right. Same with the scrolls that were in the that warlord room.
Yes, just before we were essentially attacked by fanatics.
Yes. That's more so what I want. I have no issues delivering this to the man's brother. I just want to make sure that nothing happens to us while we're several hundred feet in the sky and this thing is just sitting next to the bow.
Sure, the captain has his own processes to check for that, and we could ask.
I just think that if we right now had a way to examine this thing without opening it, but if no one does, then yeah, I suppose we can just hand this off.
Yeah, both.
Actually, oh no, I didn't do that, did I? Yeah. Damn, the one time a very, very traditional rogue would have come in handy.
I mean, we could at least, Ezekiel goes, we could at least check to see if it's booby tracked before we hand it on. I'm sure either.
Oh, Wessel. Actually, Wessel's a traditional rogue. I'll give it to Wessel. Like, Wessel, do you want to just check this thing for any sort of traps?
Yeah, I can do that. Give me 1 second, so I can bring out that part of his character sheet. right. Let us roll to check for traps. Which is what we're doing, correct?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
17 on the die. Yep. Yep. Okay. That's pretty good. 24. Wessel goes over it. And he fiddling around, and he goes, yeah, there is a the lock itself is trapped, not mechanical, but something arcane in nature.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, at least if we either don't open it or we're able to dispel this magic beforehand, that might be pertinent. But if we can't do that before we deliver it, then it's probably worth telling um, the brother before we palm it off. I don't want to.
Well,
Yeah, as always, if anyone goes through me, I don't want it to result in someone else getting their day shit on, or me be uh, an accomplice as unwilling or otherwise to a letter bomb assassination. So
yes, but yeah, Finn. Sure, why would he want to? I mean, it
we
could be
don't we
many
don't know
number of
him.
reasons.
We don't know him. That's all it is. He can kill his brother if he wants. It's just not going to be done through me. That's all.
Yes, we don't want to basically seem like accomplices to the crime. As very much that we are now publicly
It's
made aware of that.
it's not fully that. It's just that I don't, especially with the position that we're in right now. I don't fancy the idea of being used.
Well, I don't think anyone fancies being used. Uh, but
Consider me
suspicious?
extra. It was just extra sort of allergic to the idea of being used for, especially for these kinds of things.
To be quite honest, we probably shouldn't have agreed. I think maybe sort of keeping a lower profile in regards to, our location would be
Well,
the
that's
wiser
the reason
choice.
why I felt like we could have taken it, because publicly we are going to Kason. That wasn't going to change whether or not we had a package to deliver to some guy.
Yes, I agree, but I was thinking more of the lines of like we know our enemies have spies out there, and the less that we are seen, at least as a group, so the better.
Well, I think for the most part, me and you are the two recognizable ones. Not
How
as much
much?
Sia and Wessel.
How much did he end up paying us anyway?
He handed over 50 Electrum, which I believe would be 250 in regular gold.
For a courier job.
Yes.
The longer we stay here, the more I really don't like this town.
Well, I don't know that we're going to be here for much longer. But you are right.
It is a lot of money, isn't it?
You know what? The last time we were given a lot of money for a simple courier job was the day me and you met Ezekiel. And you know what? Come to think of it, I still have that bag of bronze that was payment for that job.
After all
And
this
I've
time?
still not handed it out to everyone.
To be quite honest, Vince, I don't want it.
Oh, I forget I have it, to be honest, sometimes.
But now that you say that, that creates a large deal of skepticism in regards to what this box might be. Because last time we were given, well, a warlord gem. That was what the fucking delivery was for.
Yes, and the delivery was also bullshit. The person that we were to deliver it to was no one.
Yeah.
The point of the delivery was for it to be in our hands.
I don't even remember if that was part of some crazy ploy or we were meant to be some sort of scapegoats.
I'm not sure that I remember either. But it was part of the Black Sun. It was a Black Sun plot. I remember that.
We weren't definitely
You
friends with them at the
you
time.
got into that. Well, you got into that sort of mischief with those people at the bar.
Ah, yeah. I wonder if they're still alive.
No, almost certainly not.
Yeah. Yes, I mean some of them were. At least that leader of that group probably died of old age, if anything.
Well, yeah, if he was not struck down by Munakata that day, or whatever else the hell happened.
Yes. But yeah, large amount of coin for a courier job, at least on our track record, is not good.
He's also very quick to say that he pays his taxes. I don't know why he said that.
That's the bit that stood out. Damn, he pays his taxes? Who the fuck says that?
Well, no, I thought he said that the town pays their taxes. Like, there's a law, like, nothing happens, they work, they pay their taxes, sort of thing.
Yes, very much trying to make the town seem like nothing was going on.
I mean,
Which could be true. It
yeah,
could just
on the
be.
surface, it seems like nothing goes on in this cursed town. Besides the exorbitant prices for what should have been like 5 silver. And I don't really believe that he's going to talk to that guy, if I'm quite honest. Well,
I don't suppose any of us has dispel magic. Once we're in the air, I suppose would be the better place to do it. We could ask the captain.
what, to lend us one of his wizards?
Considering it will be a package on his ship that's come from, essentially has turned out to be a shady source, we could ask for his help in trying to figure out whether it is in fact dangerous or not.
Yes. Well, I also was just going to ask if there was a safe place to store it, if it couldn't be worked out.
Oh, I'd say the storage hold, but you know, if something's bad and affects the provisions, we'd be royally screwed, and I really don't want it in the same room as us. Just in case.
How pissed off do you think he'd be if we just left the box and the money on the dock when we left?
Well, what about, instead of just leaving it here, we do what he says to take it with us, but then, you know, before we get to Kazon, we just throw it over the edge, but keep the money.
That's also going to give him cause to say we stole from him.
That could be the case, but Westall goes, Well, it seems like he doesn't talk to his brother at all. It's, if he's only now giving us the items to give to his brother, if we believe what he says, who's to say if he's in actual contact with him? I mean, does his brother even know that his father has passed away? Did he say that?
No, he not specifically. I did ask if he was aware of the family items.
Well,
Well, I guess all we can do is bring it aboard, put it on the deck of the ship, go to the captain. Hey, what do you think? And then we go from there. And if it's something dubious, we just, before we lift off, we throw it over the side, and I don't know, if you want, we throw the money. I say we keep the money, and we continue on as if we never spoke to the man. But also knowing that we cannot trust him more than what we already don't.
let's just start with the captain.
Excellent.
Yes. I'll sort of go look for the captain, and we have a couple things here.
Yeah, Captain, here's a list of things that we need help with. Can you sort that out? Look, it doesn't take you long to find the captain.
Little alien man standing in the doorway. Hey, Captain. I threw up.
It doesn't take you long. The captain's still on the deck of the ship. This is you feel like it's not long. It won't be long until like the original task of being there is done. And he's sort of finalizing details, and he goes, Finch, how does it go? Did you enjoy the sightseeing?
Yeah, it was okay. But listen, we have this item here that we've picked up a little bit of a job to do in Kaesong. But there's a problem. The package, it was sourced from an unreliable person,
Right.
and the lock itself does appear to be trapped. We're unsure of what's inside. We don't have a way of looking. So I was wondering if, one, you did have someone on board who could look, and two, if there was somewhere safe this could sit in the meantime if this were to, say, blow up, where it would do the least amount of damage to the ship.
Right. Well, couple of thoughts. The first being, I can definitely facilitate someone to at least one of the wizards can do some bit of magic just to ascertain the sort of danger that the box might be. I mean, if the package and job is from a shady person, it definitely would make sense that the delivery, the box would be, trapped at least in regards to, people renegading on a deal. If what he wants delivered is important, it's better to kill the thief and lose the gear than just lose the gear. In regards to it being stored anywhere, if it's dangerous, then there's not really anywhere in the ship that it could be, that wouldn't be a problem. So
Right.
I get one of the wizards to go over it, and then depending on what he says, we just put it in the regular storage.
All right. Sounds good. If you're happy with that, I'm happy with that.
How much do you pay for the job?
A suspicious amount, as we've decided. It was about 50 electrum. The destination is merely Kaesong. A simple courier could have done this for far, far less. So it is mirroring certain events from earlier in our journey, and it has, the rest of us on guard, I think I can say. So the faster we get rid of this thing, the faster it can be behind us.
Right. Most definitely. Well, bring it on board the deck. We'll put it to the side, and it'll be the last thing we sort out before we go.
All right. I'll just put it wherever he said.
All right. It takes about maybe 30 more minutes before like the last of the sort of official work is finished. The storage hold doors are closed shut, and most of the uh, uh, crew head down to prepare the ship for liftoff again. The captain comes back up to you guys with a one of the wizards in tow. Just a common-looking goblin gentleman, young, probably early 20s. Goes, right, so whereabouts is this item that I am to be expecting?
It is with me.
Excellent. Right. Right. He casts detect magic on it, and he goes, "Yeah, there's some magic on this chest for sure. Fucking hell. Evocation in nature. Pretty spicy. Looks to be, at least from what I pick up, all to do with the mechanism with the lock itself. Now, do we want this thing opened?"
Not right now. If there was a way to look at what was inside before that, that would be the way to go, I think. Not unless you can determine exactly what opening it would activate.
No, I don't know exactly what it would activate, but I can at least dispel whatever magic's on the trap, on the lock. Doesn't seem to be out of my league.
Um, I would you be aware of any positive effects that might be on this lock, like say a message?
Uh,
Let's say we open the box and it plays some sort of message, or it gives someone something. I don't want to potentially destroy what may be the original intention, non-violent intention of this box.
right. Um, he casts detect magic again, and he goes, "Well, look, all I can pick up from the chest itself is that on the lock. I can't pick up anything inside the chest. Um, Either that means that there is nothing going on, or there are limitations due to the spell itself. Um, the only other magic besides that I'm picking up is whatever the captain's holding, whatever uh, Officer Wessel has on him, and whatever you guys are all carrying yourselves." But the lock itself, evocation in nature, and doesn't seem to be popping off at least the strength to combat just a simple dispel magic.
an evocation spell. So that's like the elements, right?
Yeah. Uh, Studies show that people that put evocational traps on their locks, um, people open a lock that don't deal with the magical trap itself. Uh, 7 times out of 10, you get smacked with a face of fireball.
Okay. Well, I'll turn back to everyone else. What does everyone else think? Is this a good idea?
Ezekiel goes, look, uh, this whole thing is super shady, and safety of mind would to be check what's inside the lock, in the box, right? If he says he can dispel the magic on the lock, that's great. Rather him do that what might be the proper way than getting, Wessel to fidget around in the lock and then accidentally killing himself. You know what I mean? And he didn't say we couldn't, you know? As far as I'm concerned, we have every right to peruse through the box itself.
It is worrying though. I don't. I feel like whenever we try to meddle, it ends up being a net negative. So I'm just. I'm with everyone else. I don't like this situation, but at the same time, I don't want to presume.
Wessel goes, well, what about if we just lift off with the box? We go a bit of distance away from the town, we land again, we take the box off the ship, and then we have a go.
I wasn't really doubting that the dispel could be done. I was just more so doubting that interfering. Now that we know sort of a bit more about what's going on, interfering is the best thing. What if we tried to interfere after we met Rhiannon?
Hmm.
Interfere or not, we need to know, or in the very least, the captain will need to know what is
Oh,
on
we
his
haven't taken
ship.
off yet, have we?
No, you have not taken off yet. This is the last thing to be decided. The captain is like sort of like standing away.
Right. I mean, we could just simply go back to the Dynamo and be like, "Oh, hey, listen, we saw that there was a magical lock. Is that cool? What's that about?" And then he either reacts violently to that, and we go, "Oh, good, now the answer's easy." We just beat him up, and then we say, "Here's your shitty box," and we throw it at him, and we're good to go. Or he explains himself, and the explanation isn't good enough. We hand him his box and his shitty money back, or we understand the explanation and we see it through.
I feel like that would have been an option if it wasn't literally the last thing we're doing before we leave
Well,
and have
well,
the entire ship waiting on us.
Well, remember the ship is also under our employ. Um, so it just cooling here for what is probably just going to be a half an hour trip. It's probably not going to be a big deal.
Well,
What about you, Ezekiel? I think this is something to defer to you, maybe.
uh,
Do you want to go beat someone up and give him his shit back, or do you want to do your plan where we just go find a big open field and just blow this thing up in the middle of nowhere?
uh, I think more than likely, if we go to him and say, "Hey, you know, uh, the box is booby trapped," he's just gonna say, "Well, why wouldn't it be? This is very valuable gear for me." Uh, you know, and of being a daimyo, why, of course, it would make sense to have personal belongings to be.
We can also ask him why he paid us so damn much, why he paid us more than he would pay any courier. There's a lot of things we can ask him, Ezekiel. And again, he will have excuses. Any bad person will have excuses. What I'm saying is that if they're not good enough, we say, well, we hear you, we understand you. However, this is not good enough to buy our services, and we're not talking about the money. We're talking about your explanation for this lock, and well, go fuck yourself.
Do we even know if he is the actual daimyo of Altai? I don't remember there being daimyos before. Is that a new thing?
I don't know. I mean, in my village, we didn't have a daimyo. I don't think.
No,
I didn't meet him anyway.
We didn't have daimyos before. We had. I mean, it might be a new thing because in the olden day, we had the clans, and the clans were the shoguns.
Well, I suppose we can just ask literally anyone else standing around us, just because they've lived here. But I know in my village, we didn't have one. And actually, even when I went to the next village and worked there for a good year, I don't think they had a daimyo either.
They did not know. Well, in that case, Captain. Captain comes up and goes, "Yeah. Do you know? You know who runs the town of Altai?" The captain goes, "Yeah, it's what's his name? Fusion Fukusha, old friend from the olden days." Why? Wessel goes, just asking. Is the daimyo thing new? The captain goes, in a way, the daimyo thing is new. When the old system fell, the clans, new people had to be in charge of villages and towns, and because the clans weren't a thing anymore, a new sort of leadership was to take place, and the daimyos became the new heads of villages. Ezekiel goes, all right, what do we think now?
Well, maybe now we do go talk to him.
I think we just leave it on the dock, but I'll follow you if that's what you want to do, is go talk to him.
Wessel goes, I agree with Sia. I think this is something we can come back to.
Well, if we leave it on the dock, that's a pretty hard stance.
Well, if we leave it on the dock, then the world continues as it was, which is he was never gonna, deliver it, and so nothing has changed. And the chances of us coming back here, it's not going to be for a very long time. If our journey goes, well for us, us coming back to Altai is fucking months away or whatever.
Well, I guess that's true. I guess we'll leave the money then also. We don't want a fourth set of people looking for something from us.
We could use the money to make sure it is stored at the docks and not just out to be stolen. So, at the very least, we can't be pinned for letting it get stolen. Return to sender, essentially.
As he goes, yeah, we could, ask one of the small, a few dock workers here about, hey, can you hold on to this? We ended up not having the room to place it on the ship. We'll be back, and we just don't tell him how long. And
Hey, that's a good idea.
and the 50 Electrum will keep his mouth quiet.
I like
That's
that.
an idea that I'm okay with, actually.
Now it looks like and then we just never worry about it. Yeah.
No, I like that.
All right.
Very heavy, not our problem.
All right.
Well, I wouldn't mind if it was our problem, but
I would.
I think we're so strung on the side of not trusting this man that I think people would just rather be rid of it for now.
I mean, and like you said, Ezekiel, before, we can always, tell people that Altai seems to be a dodgy place. I mean, you have that connection with the first son, don't you? He could look into it. Yeah. Well, either way.
Well, at least we know what we're doing.
Right. And with that, Ezekiel picks the chest up, makes his way down the rope ladder. Calls down.
Yeah, I'll go with him as well.
All right. Doesn't take long to find one of the dock workers, sort of a middle-aged looking bugbear, sort of hammering away at a bit of broken timber. He goes, "Can I help you guys?" Zeke goes, "Yes. Look, turns out we just don't have the proper facilities to store this chest. We were wondering that if you could, put this into your own personal storage, we pay you for it, and we'll pick it back up on our return. Is that possible?" He goes, "Yeah, she'll be fine. We got room in some of the storage holds. How much are you willing? How much you giving it for?"
How much would you think?
I mean, we don't exactly get many, airborne travelers, at least in this part of the area. So I don't know. How long do you think you'll be?
Hmm. It will be a bit flexible, I think. After K Song, we're not sure. We'll be receiving additional orders, and we don't know how many stops there will be before we arrive back here.
Oh well, in that case,
But I tell you what, if it's released before we are back, there is someone here you can return this to.
yep.
I forgot the guy's name, but I'll give him the centaur guy's name.
All right, yeah,
And
I know that guy. Yeah, no worries.
yeah, just treat him as the sender. So when if the time allotted expires, then just release it to his person and treat him as though it was his property. If we're unable to return by that time,
All right, well,
but
in that case,
how much would let's say we'll give it
I could take 30 silver off your hands. That should cover at least a couple of weeks.
a couple weeks. I think should be fine. How about 30 for 3 weeks?
Yeah, I can do that. No
All
worries.
right. Let me dip into my purse here and grab you 30 silver. Yep, I'll hand over the 30 silver.
Thank you very much, and I'll put this away. Can I look, just for clarification? Can I get your names?
Yep. You can put it under Finch.
All right then, Finch. I'll remember that, and I'll do some paperwork about that later.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right, let's head back to the ship, Ezekiel.
All right, you and Ezekiel head back up. Captain asks if everything's sorted now.
Yep, everything is sorted, and we should be good to just head off.
All right.
Destination Kaesong.
Captain goes down deck. You hear orders getting blown over like the proverbial arcane speakers of the ship, and in about 5 minutes, the shift sort of lifts, and away you go.
And on our way to Kaesong.
And with that, we'll end today's session.